filter up. However, there we go. Okay, let's get started. So welcome to, what happened? There we go. Welcome to Unlock Your First Six Figures morning show where we are, losing it on a Wednesday morning. So welcome to the craziness that is the Unlock Your First Six Figures morning show. I am your crazy host, Shay Cannon. I am an award-winning fractional chief operating officer, award-winning, and I have an exclusive clientele of 7 and 6 figure CEOs. However, my mission involves you, and that is entrepreneurs and small business owners that are spinning their wheels and struggling to make it to their first 6 figures in business. I am here to help you make the money and create time freedom. That's make the money and create time freedom. We speak mostly about making the money though, right? Because some of y'all feel like, if I made the money, maybe I'd have more time. And you're right, somewhat. So we do focus a lot on making the money. Today, we have already released Blog Talk, so we already have released today's topic. But the topic of the week is getting your business ready for more, okay? Getting your business ready for more. Again, when we start out in business, what we do is we find something that we can sell that people will buy. Okay, we start off with the people that are closest to us, the people that we know, and some of the people that the people we know. Okay, so we call that a warm audience. Now, once we get past that warm audience, we need people who don't know anything about us to buy our stuff to sustain our business. That's a cold audience, right? Now, how do we get to the people that we don't know? Well, in comes what we talked about on Monday, and that is marketing, okay? Marketing. But to get your business ready for marketing, you need things clarified in your business. You need a clarified business. So go back to Monday's replay. There's about 45 minutes worth of value there for you to listen to. So Tuesday, we talked about the next step after you have a clarified business and you've been marketing, you need a little help, right? So you need to start hiring, all right? And then we talked about what do you need in place before you start hiring. You do not hire people and then try to figure out what you're going to do now that you've hired them. Nope. You have to get your business ready to hire. We talked about that on Tuesday. Go back to Tuesday's replay, okay? Yesterday, what we talked about, today is Wednesday. My bad. Told y'all we were loopy today. Anyway, so today, the next step in progression, as you see this is building on each other, is opening your capacity, okay? Opening your capacity. Basically, what we are doing is now we have marketing. So more and more people are learning about us. We have somebody to help us or somebody's, you have a little team. And so now we want to see about opening our capacity, right? Open our capacity to get more people or be able to handle more, right? Marketing is about attracting more. Opening your capacity is about being able to actually service more, okay? Some of us wait until we get a whole bunch of people before we start talking about, how are we going to handle all these people that are coming in? No, you should be preparing your business to handle those people, okay? So I call that opening your capacity. So before you can open your capacity to take more clients for your initial growth, what you're going to do is set the company up to handle that growth. And to do that, you're going to make sure that your company has a well-oiled system for taking clients through the process of you servicing them. That is them coming on board, okay, onboarding, you servicing them, the actual act of you giving them what they paid for, and offboarding them. You telling them, hey, your service is over, right? So that needs to be a system. And that system needs to be a well-oiled machine. And now that you have a well-oiled machine that is that system, you then need to know exactly how many people can be going through that system at one time. That's your actual capacity, okay? How many people can you be servicing and handling their service at one time? That's capacity, all right? Now, after that, what we want is you have to have set up some checks and balances. You have to put things in place to identify and solve client issues. You see how now things are starting to look like a quote unquote real business, right? Because you can't just take in all of these people, right? And then the people that, should be getting service within the month are waiting 3 months for their projects to get started. That's not okay. It's not okay if you haven't told them first. Now, again, you can tell them, hey, we do have a slot open, but we won't be able to get started servicing you until insert 3 months, down the line. And it could be their choice that their project starts at that time. But it might be that they don't want to give you their money because they want their project to start now, and they should have the choice to go to someone else if you can't handle the capacity, right? The worst thing that you can do as a business owner is continuously take on people that you don't have the capacity to serve, because that's where customer complaints come in. Okay. That's where people start giving you a bad reputation. And as a reminder, your brand is not your business colors. It is not your logo. It's not your website. Your brand is your business's reputation. That's your brand. Okay. What have you promised? That's your brand. Okay. Have you lived up to that promise? That's your brand, right? So when you're out here accepting people's money, knowing that you can't service them well or timely, you're going to get a bad reputation. All right. I'm dealing with a vendor right now. When I tell you customer service is trash, and I can tell this because of capacity, oh my God. Okay. Now I'm one that I'm not going to just go around talking about people, but Lord, don't nobody bring up that name, no, because I'm gonna give you the goods. I'm gonna tell you, I don't know if I would do that, right? But capacity is an issue. So that is why it's the next thing that we handle. So once we have marketing going, we have people helping us. Now we have to really focus on that capacity, right? Now, I want to know from our guest hosts today, I would like to know an issue that you have dealt with another company that you know it's because they had too much capacity and no system in place to handle the capacity. Okay, I want to start with Teray. Teray, give me an example of a business that you were the client and they clearly couldn't handle the capacity, but they took your money and they serviced you horribly.
Yesterday, I took my mom to the dermatologist. Not the dermatologist, the podiatrist. And we were there for 3 hours. We had an 11 o'clock appointment. We sat in the waiting room for an hour. They took us back to the room. It took them a half hour to give her foot x-rays, a half hour. The girl was new. She every 5 minutes, she had to go out and ask how to use the machine. We went into a room. They hooked my mom up to the machine to see, look at her blood flow. The machine wasn't working. We have to go get another cord. We sat in the room forever. The doctor was great when we finally saw her. But then the doctor was like, well, here, let me get her some compression socks and let me get a printout for you and let me get some prescriptions. She disappeared. So then my mom is sitting there. My mom is in a memory care facility. She says, I have to go to the bathroom. Well, she's barefoot with medicine on her feet, so she needs it to be covered up. So where's the girl with the socks? I go down the hall. We don't have socks. Who told you we had socks? I was like, what? The whole thing. And it was a system problem. It was a nice office. The doctor was good. We'll never go back.
Yeah.
Because it was and the girl, they were confused. This didn't work. That didn't work. After 3 hours, they couldn't give me the printout because my mom hadn't been yet loaded in the system as a new patient. What have y'all been doing for 3 hours? Yeah. It was a system issue. And that's what I told my siblings. They were like, how did it go? I'm like, they don't know how to run their office. And that was the issue. It wasn't that they couldn't provide service, but I'll never go there again because of their system.
Now, I'm wanting y'all to hear these stories for a reason, because this could be your business, right? Heather, what has been one of your experiences?
So mine is more something that a lot of us deal with, but I'm not sure how to avoid it, is if at all possible, I will never go back to the Orlando airport for any reason. Period.
I mean, I get
it. Because I'm sorry, it's Florida in June. You know that it rains like a monsoon for 2 hours and then there's nothing for 4 hours. You're going to tell me, y'all know this happens, this is seasonal, and you can't get the staff to handle the people who are like, I'm sorry, what is happening? Why did it take me 4 hours to get through TSA to get to the gate? And then they don't have enough gate agents. So the flight crew is on a plane sitting out on the tarmac, but they can't pull to the gate because they don't have a gate crew to disembark passengers, which means my flight is delayed. And now it's taking me 14 and a half hours to get from Orlando to Milwaukee.
Yeah.
14 hours.
Look at there.
Could have driven in that time if I was so inclined, but I'm not. But you know, damn. And I really look at it as like, and it was not like it was a TSA issue. And yes, I mean, the airlines and staffing is one thing, right? Like once you get to the gate, but the TSA situation is what it like Teray, it was, where's your process? Where's your procedure? Where are your backup? Where's your plan B, your plan C, and your plan D for handling all of this? Like, I will never, and I know other airports have issues, but right now, Orlando, it's like me and Peach Schnapps from college. We're not going to be compatible probably for a very long time.
Go away, Heather. All right, Demetra, tell me about a bad client experience you've had that you knew it was because they couldn't handle the capacity of people coming through, paying them to be serviced.
Well, since we're talking about airports, Heather, Atlanta is no better. Okay. Okay, so clearing TSA the other day on Sunday to come down here to Puerto Rico, and they had to take my cane to get scanned, but I can't move because you took my cane. And it took a good 15 minutes for them to do whatever they needed to do for those type of devices to be scanned. And I'm just like, oh my God, just look at me just standing here because I don't have my device, guys. Y'all got to do better than that. So, yeah, Atlanta Airport.
Hey, that's my home airport. Look, I'm about to
mine too,
but I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna hold it in. All right. So Cheryl, please tell me about a time where you knew that you weren't being serviced properly, due to them being over capacity.
Oh, it was impossible too. I purchased a course from a coach, and she never delivered. And I continued, to contact her politely in Messenger, and she never responded. 7 months. So, at this point, I said, well, let me go on her Facebook page, and I asked her, could she please contact me because I needed to get the program. She sent one module, I think it was, and it had something like 12 or 13. And I said, I need to get the rest of the program. Little did I know that triggered a bunch of other people who had ordered the course and didn't have it. And she came to me in Messenger saying, don't ever put that on my page again. Da, da, da. I said, well, then you need to send me what you need to send me. I said, I just asked you politely. I said, but I'm not responsible for all the other people that are in the same place. And so she promised to get it to me, et cetera, et cetera. And I told her, I said, well, I know you're busy, is 3 days good enough? Oh yeah, that's fine. Of course, nothing happened. Well, I bank with a bank that really cares about their customers. And so I went to my bank and they withdrew the funds from her. Well, I heard from her at that point. And then she says, I answered every email every message that you sent. I said, no, you didn't. I got it right here in my file. I said, you answered when A, I went to your Facebook, B, when we subtracted the money from your account. And she was like, well, I'll make sure you get the rest. No, didn't happen. And then had the nerve to ask me for a recommendation, for a testimonial. I said, you really don't want me to write that. You really don't, because I'm not going to lie. So needless to say, and I have, she disappeared for a while, and I happened to see she was back on social media again. Was it yesterday, day before, trying to sell something? I was like, oh, y'all beware. But that's it.
Thank you, Cheryl. Z, tell me about a time when you were not serviced properly and you think it's because they just had way too many clients. Let's see if Z could join us, because you're muted, Z, if you're trying to talk to us.
That's because I can't think of a time. I live in a perfect world. I get everything that I want. I would like to talk about something that always a pet peeve of mine, but I can't do anything about it. So socialized medicine. I consider VA socialized medicine. They make a promise out in public that, we take care of our veterans, just bring them all in, we'll take care of them. But what they don't tell you is that, like, if you get a referral and it could be urgent, oh, but we can't see you until next year. And you're like, well, can I get a outside community care? Oh, well, the directors and different people have to get together and they have to decide on if we're going to provide you that care. And so you could be like, seriously though, you could be one leg in life, one leg to transition, and it will not make them move any faster for you. And then on top of that, you may have to wait 15, 30 minutes to get somebody on the phone for them to tell you, I can't see you till next year. And so it's very, I've been going to our care centers for a long time, and I figured, you know what? They get millions and billions of dollars from the public every year to service us, and they still haven't figured it out. They overpromise and underdeliver. And that is a prime example, our VA Veterans Healthcare.
Thank you, Z. See, thank you for the value add. I appreciate it. Dr. LaFera, tell us about a time that you were not serviced properly, and it's because they were trying to service way too many people at a time. And we're going to see if Dr. LaFera can come off the mic. Glow, you're next. So if you want to put it in the comments, if you can't come off the mic. Oh, she said her mom is a telephone nurse at the VA. Good.
Yeah, I was going to tell her that, like, they take care of people, like what she's talking about. If you get one of them, but you have to go through them, and then they kind of help you get through the system quick. I don't know if they have it where she is. So my business is I help. So I'm a physician, and I have a business called Fair and Co. And I help others for the reverse disrespectful body changes, and so they can live their best lives. And I do that through beauty, balancing their hormones, and boosting their energy. So I'll say that as a person with an autoimmune disease, I have sarcoidosis. I had to have a test done recently, and the test equipment that they gave me to take home was for somebody that was probably like 200, 300 pounds. So it didn't work. And like I told them that when I brought it back. And so they wanted to kind of label me as, having suspicious for a condition. They wanted me to like get follow-up, and I was like, I'm not doing that. And so like I said, I need you to give me equipment that works before you test me. And I said, you all are using equipment meant for people like that weigh a certain weight. Everybody doesn't weigh that. And so because of that, I won't say I'm all of it, but I'm part of the reason that this particular hospital system is ordering all new equipment so they can like have stuff that fits everybody. And so it's like they try to push people. Everybody's not obese. So they try to push people into like one cookie cutter type of piece of equipment that needs to not be that way sometimes. And so that's a situation where, the system is kind of what you're talking about, but kind of meant for one type of person. And so they try to push everybody through it, and they're not built to help everybody. Exactly. And other people suffer because of it.
Because I mean, for God's sake, there are different size blood pressure cuffs. You think this machine that's doing way more can fit all people? Like, that's crazy. Thank you, Dr. LaFera. So Glow says, first of all, she says, hey ladies. Then she said, I just had an experience with the company on IG. It wasn't until I requested a refund that they sent me my stuff. So I got my money back, but it was over a month until I received my stuff. I went through protocol to do what was needed. So I just wanted all of you to tell the story so that, because sometimes as business owners, we are two-faced. Okay, we're two-faced. And so we act one way as clients and we act another way as business owners. And so what I need you to understand is, as a business owner, these experiences that you have had as a client should be experiences that you're trying to not have happen in your business to your clients. Okay. So I'm going to go back through what I said you need to do to get your business ready to open its capacity. Because now I want you to see it through a different lens. Now you're preventing your clients from going through all of these stories, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna have a system for servicing them, okay? A well-oiled machine that is a tested, that works system. And this system should take them from being onboarded to be serviced and to be offboarded, okay? This is service-based business, okay? That should be a well-oiled machine. Once you have your well-oiled machine set up, you need to know exactly how many people can you take through that well-oiled machine at a time. Okay? How many people can you service at a time? That is the true definition of capacity. Okay? Then I need you to have some checks and balances in there to be able to identify and solve client issues. Okay? So you got the machine, you got knowing how many people you can take through the machine, and you got some checks and balances as a part of the machine to identify problems and solve those problems. Ideally, we want to know it's a problem before our client does. Let me tell you how your service is failing if your client has to come to you and tell you something. Something is failing about your service, right? Not only did something happen that was wrong, but you didn't even know. The client had to bring it to your attention. All right? So that's how you're going to set it up. But let's go through some tips of how you can set it up, right? First, you can do some market research. What is the process for other people that they're using as their well-oiled machine or their system? Are you paying attention to other people that do things like you do things? Maybe there's some things you can pull in. Maybe you see them doing some things that you can say, hey, we don't have that problem. Let's pull that into the marketing that we don't have that problem. But we want to do some research, okay? What does the system look like for other people or other businesses, I should say? Okay, then we want to do some financial forecasting, okay? Because when we know our capacity, we will also want to know how much money are we going to bring in from that capacity, and is that money going to last for us to get those people through the system and refill the capacity? Okay, you need to know what your financial situation is. You need to be able to forecast. You need to know what your cash flow is going to be based on your capacity. You need to be able to project. Okay. You might have to update your business plan. Okay, if you did the affordable workshop series with me and you did the first workshop, business planning made easy, you know you should be looking at that business plan quarterly. As you are growing as a business, that plan needs to be updated. Okay. Your business should not have the same structure, okay? And you're going to need more resources than what were originally on that plan. So always go back to your plan. Operational efficiency, we've already talked about your system, okay? We're looking for bottlenecks in the system. What is clogging the system up, okay? If you go back to your client journey, we picked out the middle of that client journey, right? But what I want you to do is look at the journey and see where are things getting clogged up? Because that's going to tell you where you're going to need to solve issues to open your capacity, okay? Staffing and training, okay? So we hired, right? But do we need more people? Or do we have the right people? Are they trained? Remember to hire, to get ready to hire, we told you, you need to have a training plan. But now with the capacity, do we need to change some of the things we trained them on? Because now we may have a new process. Do they need more training? Okay? What about your tech? I've always told you what I was taught from Chris L. Davis of Automation Bridge. He has a hugely wonderful quote, and that is that we hire tech. We hire tech, okay? We don't buy tech, we hire tech. And I've added on to his quote, and I tell you that we hire tech before we hire people, right? So what tech do you need on this onboarding and servicing and offboarding? What tech could help you clog up some of the bottlenecks? Okay. If you have a product-based business, how is your inventory management? You need to look at that. Okay. It's okay to sell out. However, when will they get their stuff? Right? Customer service. Some of us are so busy doing the thing that is paid for, we're not doing anything on top of that that's making it a great client experience. Okay, so what is your capacity to do what they pay for and make it a great experience? How can we add in great experience moments in there? And again, that could be people or that could be tech. Quality control, we kind of talked about that. Risk management. Oh Lord, okay. Some of us working, I wish Auntie Shaky was on this morning, because some of us work in industries where they don't care nothing about what your business lacks. By compliance and law, there are certain things that need to happen within a certain amount of time. Okay. So if you're in that industry or in those types of industries, you need to be looking out for that. Because nobody cares that you're just a small business and, you know, so-and-so was sick and that backed it up, and or you hired your whole family and now your whole family has something going on and so it stopped your business. Nobody cares. This is why people don't like working with small businesses. Be professional, treat it as a business. Nobody owes you a favor. They gave you their money, give them what they paid for. Okay. So we already talked about what do we do? What do we have? Okay, so offboarding. Let's talk about that for a minute. Because I talk about offboarding and I come to find out some of y'all ain't offboarding correctly. So what I need y'all to do, okay, I need y'all to pay attention and actually have an offboarding system. If you do not repeat to people what they, if you do not repeat to people what they bought, okay, and that you have fulfilled everything that they bought, and now is the end of the service, and this is how you can continue to work with me, this, that, and that's offboarding. What happens is, because you never made that boundary very, very clear, you can't just make it clear in the beginning, okay? You got to make it clear at the end. Hey, this is the end of the service. This is what you bought. This is everything that we did, but this is how you can continue to work with us for this amount, okay? If you don't do that, what happens is they keep coming to you and they keep coming to you, or they expect more things from you than they should based on what they bought. Take that offboarding seriously, okay? So these are ways that we can work with capacity, okay? Get the capacity ready. I would love to hear any of your questions on capacity. When you think about your business, because y'all know I make y'all think a little different. That's why I took you through, because y'all go all in when I let you complain about somebody else. But then when I bring it back to you, you be like, oh shit.
Look,
yeah.
I'm just gonna put it right here. You know,
right.
Offboarding for me, not a thing. You and I talked about it last week. I was like, nope. I really didn't have a very good system. I have since put a better system in place. It's still being refined, but no, I didn't have one. So that is, when you said offboarding, I was like, ooh.
Yeah, but it's not just you.
I know, but it was
of a very expensive mastermind that didn't have a great offboarding system, right?
No, that really did suck.
And
actually.
So at the end of the day, you didn't give $25K worth of customer service during the time. And then when it came to offboarding, everybody wasn't clear that if they didn't say they weren't renewing by a certain time, that they would be automatically renewed. Somebody had to spread the word about that. They didn't have a renewal system in place. So they tried to hurry up and do it towards the end. And by that time, people had already made the decision they weren't coming back. Right.
And they also didn't have a system for people who weren't renewing, like why? Like what's the exit interview, right? I had to request one. Yeah. And if you got to request one that you wasting your time, because there you go. They didn't value it enough to ask you for one. So what are they going to do with it when you request for one? Right. Mm-hmm. Another thing was there wasn't any checks and balances in place that was paying attention to the fact that people were dropping off in droves and people weren't able to pay. Nobody was paying attention and trying to solve those issues until finally toward the end when they realized how much money they were losing. Well, it's kind of too late now. Now you're coming with all the promises, but guess what? All the promises come if you renew. Well, you've already burned me. I'm not gonna give you my money again. So it's not gonna work that way. So we have to have an offboarding system. Right? If you have a course or a program, you need to have some type of referral system in the works. Renewal, I'm sorry. Referral too, but I mean renewal. If it's not just the end, right? And then you should have an offboarding. Shawana knows that when I had the beta version of my course, they had a graduation. Right? All along, I was asking them, because it was a beta, what could be better? What could be better? What, what I'm saying? They gave me all the feedback.
Now all of that feedback is going into the new version of the course. But they had a graduation. They were also able to tell me everything that worked for them. Now I know what to keep, right? So those exit interviews or those opportunities to get feedback are not just about learning the negativity, although you shouldn't be afraid to learn about a complaint. That's an opportunity for you to make it better. But it's also the opportunity for you to hear what works. So when you're thinking about making changes, you know what not to touch because your ideal clients have told you, we like this. All right. Anybody else have any questions about this capacity thing? Because one of the things I think is not understood by a lot of entrepreneurs when we start a business is capacity changes. So we have to watch capacity. Capacity could be the reason why you're not making a lot of money. Capacity could be the reason why you're wasting money, right? If you keep an eye on your capacity, then you can service people well. But you can also watch for the seasons that you tend to do better and more volume than other seasons. Now we know we might need to hire some temporary help during the seasons that are voluminous for our business, but then the seasons that are down, we don't need as many people, right? Or we need to be focusing on something else in the business. Capacity is so important and people I don't know about y'all, because I go through a lot of programs. I've been through a lot of coaches. I consume a lot of information. I don't hear people talking about capacity near enough. But capacity is so important, especially to small businesses. Bigger businesses are set up for capacity from day one. Our businesses are not. So we in particular have to pay attention to capacity. How many people can we service excellently at a time? Okay. And when I need to hire and you go through that hierarchy of questions that you're going to ask yourself that I've given you, then you can know, oh, okay, when I say the first question, the priority is how do I get to the money the fastest? Some of that might be, I need to hire somebody that can help me service clients so we can bring in more clients. Now I just doubled the capacity, right? Exactly, Teray. Teray said they talk about scaling, but not capacity. And look, thanks for talking about what we're going to talk about tomorrow, because we're going to end the week talking about scaling. But if you can't service the capacity that you have now, what are you scaling? Chaos? Right? What are you scaling? Complaints? Problems? That's why capacity comes first. All right.
That's true.
Got?
This is Arena. I think for me, that is a really big issue because I'm in retail and I know that with Walmart, they made it pretty clear that they want a certain turnaround in the product. So you definitely have to monitor where your inventory is and keep in the back of your mind as well. How long does it take your manufacturer to create the units that you need to replenish the inventory? And so that's something that I've really been thinking about. I know right now, just starting off, I had to invest over 13,000 just to get 4,000 units. So I can have some pretty decent level of inventory. But you just think if it were to blow up, that's nothing. And then I already know it takes, they told me 4 to 5 weeks to replenish. So I know that is so important. I have seen them say out of stock, but I also know they don't want you to be out of stock too long. It doesn't look good for their company and it doesn't look good. It won't look good for me to always be out of stock. So I'm really trying to work that into my plan as well, how I'm going to do that.
Exactly. And you need to know what are all the pieces of the production of your product, right? Because y'all know I don't really talk about product-based business. I specialize in service-based business as a primary business, but we do have product-based businesses in my clientele's portfolio. One of them of which is Dr. Joffrey's Shield Vitamins, right? So he has a three vitamin kit. This is the main one, the immunity gummies. But then there's D3 and there's vitamin C to complete the kit. Now, what comes a part of this is the manufacturer supplies the product inside, right? They also happen to supply the bottle, the cap, and the labels. The bottle and the cap is cool, but they have to have an inventory of it in addition to an inventory of the actual product that goes inside. And guess what? we have to get labels printed. Labels take 4 weeks by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then the product itself is going to take 4 weeks. So that's 8 weeks. So how do you take that and say, okay, what is my capacity? Well, number one, you need to keep a certain amount of inventory. But number two, how I solve that problem is every time I order product, I order an extra set of labels. So the next time, all I have to do is order product. Y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
So when I order product, labels are already sitting there ready for us to have product. And then once we order product and use up those labels, even though we just order product, along with that product order, I order labels so that they're again sitting there when we need to order product. And that's how I minimize production time. Capacity, right? So Z, for you, if you're using a manufacturer and the things are coming from different places, you have to find out what is the lead time for all the different places, because your supply chain could be disrupted at any of those individual points.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate that they'll be able to handle all the way up to 50,000. So I got really a lot of room to grow. But I will tell you, even in thinking capacity, I'm learning, Shay, that I know where I'm at now and starting off, but I do see expansion. So behind the scenes sometimes too, like I'm working on the certification. Even though I know right now I'm not in place to take on any state or school projects right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that I need to have, when I am ready to expand, I need that certification, and I need to have that in my pocket. So when this game blew up on retail and I'm able to expand my capacity for the number of cards, then I get that extra body that you're telling me that extra body that I need to help me with the operations. I won't have to just like, okay, let me get my certification first, because I had an opportunity right quick to been this past weekend. And we talked about the school, we talked about rehab facilities, and someone had told me about seniors, but I never thought about parks and recreation. And so the lady approached and we were talking, and she was like, we do all kinds of things with kids. We do all kinds of things with seniors. So she gave me her card, and I told her I was working on that certification. She said, that's good. As soon as you get that in place, you give me a call back and I'll show you how to get into our pipeline with the parks and recreation. And I was like, wow, you have, it's almost like you work what you're at now, but then you also have to plan ahead for the next level and get whatever you need. So it was very, I think what I'm learning here, basically, not to sound like a broken record, but I really encourage anyone listening here who's a startup like myself. This community here, this live broadcast really brings value. It really brings value. Even if you don't have the capacity like most of the people here, at least you get some knowledge ahead of time that will prepare you. So you won't be like, oh, what the heck is this? You've already heard it from Shay. You've already heard it from the experience of Teray and Demetra to prepare you. So it shouldn't be a shock to you. So come on in, because it's awesome.
Thank you, Z. I appreciate that. Well, guys, we're at the top of the hour. Any final words or any questions before we get out of here? No? Awesome. Well, have a great day. Tomorrow, we're going to round it out. We've already spilled the beans that we're talking about scaling tomorrow. So that's how we'll end the week. So join us tomorrow. So we'll see you. Same bat time, same bat channel. Have a great